Good evening, everybody. Welcome to American Fire. I'm Ace. We're going to do it tonight. Got a lot to share with you guys tonight. I hope you're excited. This Monday evening, beautiful Monday evening, I got to say, in North Carolina. It's nice and cool out, but it's smoking hot up in D.C., and I'm glad I'm not up there because things are getting fiery. Guys, tonight we are talking about PSYOPs because they are going all out. The massive psyop to try to take Kash Patel out. I don't know if y'all noticed, but we're going to be bringing that one down. There's one of JD Vance as well. Promethean Action did a wonderful job breaking it down, so we're going to talk about that. We have Trump's what's going on in Iran and how Iran is breaking. Trump's playing this masterfully again. I know. People get caught up in the winds. It's like, what is he doing? What's going on? It's back and forth. But, man, I got to tell you, China weighed in today, and that tells me the deal is going to be very close as they're getting frustrated. As we caught a ship, they were trying to sneak by us with missiles on it. So, going to break that down. We have all kinds of crazy exposure continuing on Capitol Hill. Politician after politician getting outed. Of course, we got the Grifter Report. We got to talk a little bit about what's going on in Fagaland. We have leaks coming out of SCOTUS and updates on the SAVE Act. Lots to get to tonight, so we cannot waste time, my friends. So before we get started, hit the like, hit the subscribe, share if you don't mind, repost if you're on X. And that's all I'm asking of you guys, just help the algorithm. Help me help you. Let the algorithm, let it know that you guys don't mind my show. You actually enjoy watching it. So let me do some shout outs in the Chizat, and then we're going to get moving. I'll start with Rumble tonight. AZ Tropic, Lochtefeld, and SoCal holding down the fort over there on Rumble. But here on YouTube, X, I'm sorry, guys, I can't see your chats. Talk to Elon about it. He blocks me. But here on YouTube, we got Wago Waco, Cass Sink, Vincent Vega, AK Downrange, D Grooms in the house, William Magdalene, D6, Lay Arsenault, Arsenault. Yeah, that's right. It's French. Toe Cramp, Kim Wiley, Ray Sandoval, Pat M., Saved by Grace, what's going on? Alice Fordham, Scott Volkovich. What is this? I got a new one. Chooch is behind celebrating 420. Huh. Wonder what that means. Jesus Saved Me, Travis Duarte, Seth Linerode, Mark R, Shogun, Pedro Tino, Tammy Anderson, GN358, Red Legosaurus, Hero at Large. What's up, brother? Red Legosaurus says, from behind enemy lines in Massachusetts. God bless you, sir. Stella Artois, what's going on? It's been a bit, Stella. How are you? Who else? Who am I missing here? Curtis Hatcher. And I think I'm caught up. Oh, not interested. That's a great thing to read out for this. M. Lamern, congratulations. Thank you. Drewski, Big Ace in the place. What's going on, man? Francis Riley. And Ellen Hunt, MAGA NDA, funny guy. Mike Mishler, Gen X. This is getting longer and longer. Centelome, or Castellum. I said that wrong. All right. Okay. Whew, that's a lot of shout-outs. Guys, the chat is getting bigger. We're getting this show's getting bigger every night. I might have to go back to what I did in the old days and just call out the top 5. Maybe I'll do a top 10. First 10. Maybe will be the ones that start getting called out so you guys can rush over here. $5 super chat from Toe Cramp says, here's $5. Buy some popcorn. We're going to need it. NCSWIC. You guys know what that means. Thank you, Toe Cramp, for the donation. I appreciate it, sir. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, the PSYOPs are always a good sign. All right, you guys ready? Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and let's settle in and get into it. Okay. Today, massive hit piece running around on Kash Patel. They are trying to take this man out. They are clearly terrified of Kash. Going back to a couple weeks ago with Alex Jones. All right, my man Carl Serafin here says that Kash is out tonight. He's going out. He's going to get rid of him. They have been going after Kash like crazy. Why? Why are they so scared? Not that the director of the FBI has any power over domestic corruption, weeding that out at all. But the Atlantic today went ahead and published this story. On multiple occasions, Patel's security detail had difficulty waking him because he was seemingly intoxicated. According to info supplied to the DOJ and White House officials, a request for breaching equipment was made because Patel had been unreachable behind locked doors. They put this hit on Kash to make him look like a drunk, a stumbling buffoon. It just goes on and on and on. This we're not going to read the whole story, but FBI director's MIA is the name of the story, and this is all meant to make Kash look awful. They're putting him down hard, and why now? Why now? We're going to get into how easily this story was debunked in a minute, but next, we have this story that's been circulating about JD Vance. It's all over the place. In fact, this op-ed has now been published in about 5-6 magazines and papers, all trying to push this narrative that JD is disappearing and Trump's pissed at him. In fact, it says after a series of setbacks, Vice President no longer Donald Trump's obvious successor. He lacks the charisma to create his own political base. Now, every time I bring up Vance and how much I think of him, I get pushback because there's a lot of people who believe the Whitney Webb stuff, the Vance is really a technocrat controlled by Peter Thiel nonsense that Whitney Webb is spreading. And even last night, somebody was like, he just doesn't have it. He's not a good speaker. It's like, okay, bro. Vance is only the most talented politician I've ever seen. It's him and Barack Obama, and the difference is JD Vance tells the truth. That's the difference. And I know I'm younger, 42. Haven't seen as many, I don't remember Reagan in his prime, so on and so forth. But in my lifetime, JD Vance is the most talented politician. Trump has the best political instincts I've ever seen, but Vance has the most talent. So to say something like this is just crazy. But this Edward Luce goes on to make the point that he is falling apart because the Iran talks failed. They didn't even really show up, or Biden lost in a landslide. JD was just calling out that he must be a threat because EU was interfering in the election. He didn't go out and campaign for the guy. But again, you just see they're pushing this hard. Now, I don't usually cover that many stories like this. I usually don't see the point. But this is different between Vance and Kash and what's going on right now and the way these are spreading. It's a clear attack because these are coordinated and being spread by the media and the left. This isn't just one person's opinion that got out there. This isn't a story in National Review where like some good conservative journalists might be doing a breakdown. No, this is full on attack from one of the worst news organizations on the planet, which is the Atlantic, whose owner was buddies with Ghislaine Maxwell. So there you go. And Jeffrey Toobin was sneaking into the Signal chat last year with Hegseth and JD Vance and all of them about the strikes in Iran at that point and the Houthi strikes. So this place, they're fraudulent. Why push this now when no one else would touch this story? Well, Barbara Boyd over at Promethean Action did an excellent video on this today. It's a 14-minute video, so I'm not going to play it. Plus, it's their content. I don't want to steal it from them. So I'm going to give you guys a breakdown real quick. But they did a wonderful job catching this and talking about City of London and how City of London is clearly behind this. So let's just I'm going to go through this summary real quick. Boyd drops a hammer on London's secret propaganda machine trying to torpedo Trump, Vance, and Iran peace talks before midterms. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the Trump part. My bad. Look at this. Jimmy Dore had CIA analyst Larry Johnson on today, and this is one of those stories that as soon as you see it, you can tell it's fake, which makes me lose a lot of respect for Jimmy Dore, who's gone full-on TDS Trump-tard, even though he seemed to be waking up after COVID, but he's completely gone now. Has this fraud on here, and it says, during an emergency meeting on Saturday, Trump tried to use the nuclear codes on Iran and was stopped by Dan Raising Cane. Now, if you are stupid enough to believe that Trump was just running to launch the nuclear codes, launch nukes on Iran, and General Kane was like, "I'm gonna stop him." It's like, I have some oceanfront property for you in Arizona, and I'd love to sell it to you. Please inquire in the email in the description, because it's great property, and you could really see the waves coming in. It's beautiful. But playing this, Jimmy Dore posting this as if it's legitimate. But again, anybody with a brain can see through this one immediately, and thankfully Buzz Patterson, who held the nuclear football for years for Bill Clinton, also a friend of the show. Buzz Patterson's been a guest on the show. He did a great job. You guys should go watch it. Said great stories about the Bill Clinton days. Has spent a lot of time exposing Clinton in his books later, but held the nuclear football for Bill Clinton in the Oval Office, following him around the White House, so on and so forth. Says this is complete BS. That's not how they work. Why don't you try talking to the guy who used to do it? In other words, me. This is clickbait trash. Yeah. Can't trust those former CIA analysts, can you? No, they're City of London. They are deep state. So back to Boyd. She says, no conspiracy theories, just facts to prove a coordinated London-led operations working overtime to keep the Middle East on fire, destroy America first before the midterms. Trump made it crystal clear on Truth Social, if talks fail, it's game over. The IRGC is a real problem. They have to look tough no matter what, just like we talked about last night. Iran's bleeding $500 million a day by blocking the strait. The regime's collapsing. Peace would be a massive win, but London, the Iranian assets don't want peace because chaos equals profit. The propaganda op targeting JD, this is the smoking gun, Edward Luce, Financial Times, published a hit piece calling Vance shrinking and no longer Trump's obvious successor. It got picked up everywhere, including CNN, CNBC, Daily Beast. Luce isn't a random columnist. He's the son of a top British royal household official and a former Clinton speechwriter. London's man in Washington, plain and simple. Sounds like he'd be friends with Candace Owens' husband, right? I mean, they're all sons of top British royal household officials, House of Lords. Candace Owens, you and your homeboy know each other? Probably. This kicked off after Vance's epic Munich security conference speech in February 25. By the way, if you guys never watched that speech, it's unbelievable. Vance just lit Germany on fire. He told the UK Europe elites to their faces they become fascist with their election cancellation, censorship, and hypocrisy. Said the real threat isn't Russia or China, it's a strangulation of free speech in their governments. Within hours, British press smeared him as Putin's tool. This is not random opinion. Coordinated cyber war prop operation using UK intelligence tools. How the London-run Iran propaganda machine actually works. These three layers. Press TV, which, we all know that. It's Mockingbird Media. Iran's English language broadcaster literally runs out of London. How crazy is that? We knew the Khomeinis were attached to London. They got the real estate empire there, $50 billion empire, by the way. But yeah, even their English language broadcast runs out of London. From one of the most sanctioned countries in history, from a place where we all were hands off, make it tough on Iran. We can't go over there. We can't mess with them. We got to strangulate their economy because they're terrorist sponsors, number one state sponsor of terror. Stay away. And yet London was like, we'll do business with them. Yeah, hey, broadcast over here. License revoked in 2012. So they got to have a little cover, but still operating. They put respectable Western faces like George Galway on a push the narrative. NIAC, National Iranian American Council, poses as harmless advocacy group in D.C. Court docs show its founder coordinating directly with Iran's UN ambassador on the lobbying strategy. Iran Experts Initiative. Leaked Iranian Foreign Ministry emails, 23 semaphore investigation, prove Iran secretly embedded American experts in top U.S. think tanks and media. Guys, think about what all this means. We've been infiltrated not just by City of London and their deep state, and they are always buying up our property. The babies they're having to have natural my brain, I'm sorry guys, citizenship, for why is my brain not thinking of this right now? The birthright citizenship, and the way they've infiltrated our universities. Well, Iran has infiltrated us as well. You know who did this in the old days? The commies. This was very normal starting all the way back in the early 1900s, where the communists were getting infiltrated in our government. The movie Oppenheimer is an excellent example of how fearful they were of commies being in our government everywhere. Well, now we're finding out all these other countries have been infiltrating us, and it makes sense even more so if you don't think of it as this country did it, this country did it, this country did it, this country did it. Instead, you think of it as they're working together. City of London, Iran. I mean, the ties between City of London and Iran just get more and more obvious the deeper you look. I love to say it, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Iran is totally the deep state, and it obliterates them. And now it's City of London pushing the ops to kill the midterms and the future and justice movement that's about to happen here in Kash Patel. They promote Tehran's talking points without disclosing ties. Some ended up in Obama, Biden, White House, and Pentagon. Even Biden's own Iran envoy had his security clearance yanked over this network. All three layers use the exact same British playbook they ran against Trump and for the Ukraine war. Identical phrases show up in mainstream media, social media influencers, Democratic talking points. Yeah, we know all about the media and social media influencers now, right? As the faggotards, the fake MAGA, Tucker, Candace, Alex Jones have all come out at the same time, and yada, 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 a ton of others, all come out at the same time when we struck Iran, when it became clear Trump was obliterating Iran, the Iranian regime. Yeah, all of a sudden, all these influencers go full anti-Trump immediately. That's all you need to know, folks. Listen, they're not going to come out and tell you. You're rarely going to get a document that says, yeah, hey, this guy signed a contract with City of London. Look right there. It's obvious. No, you have to do the work. You have to figure out who their connections are. And sometimes those connections go nowhere. Sometimes somebody just knew somebody. So you have to also watch their actions, watch their words. It takes a trained eye. It takes a long time to figure this stuff out. And if you're watching media, you ever go, why'd that person say that? That's weird. They're not usually like that. That's almost always because they're an operative and they're starting to seed narratives. Almost always. Sometimes they just have gas. But it's almost always when you get that, that was weird. Why'd you say that? Hey, Tucker, why'd you have that weird guest on? Well, now we know. It's become completely obvious and out in the open. This is an organic opposition. It's foreign influence operation designed to prolong the war and tank Trump's momentum. The real motive, City of London's trillions depend on chaos. And there it is. Destabilizing the Middle East over and over and over again. UK, Europe are in economic meltdown, cut off Russian gas and nuclear, relying on expensive Gulf oil plus windmills. The City of London controls oil prices, shipping insurance. Not anymore. Thanks, Trump. Lloyd's of London out. I mean, they're still going to be presenting insurance to some, but their monopoly is broken. And Middle East financial plumbing, unstable region equals volatile oil prices plus sky-high insurance premiums equals trillions in profits for London banks. And that's what it comes down to, guys. People are like, I get people who are like, it's not City of London, it's the bankers. I'm like, they're all the same. There's a hub, but it's all connected. You know, Iran's role as regional terrorist sponsor keeps the chaos going. Peace would kill their golden goose. President Trump's trying to kill it. Amen. So let's look at how obvious this psyop is. Okay. For those who are like, well, maybe they're right. Maybe he's right about JD. Well, how about the latest poll from Rasmussen? One of the most accurate polls on tracking MAGA. Oh, as of just a couple of days ago, well, a week ago, JD Vance still has a 27-point lead over Marco Rubio. 27 points. That's not even close. And that's with Marco Rubio having the best month of his life in politics coming out of Iran and off Venezuela. I mean, Marco Rubio was as hot as ever, and Vance is still 27 points ahead of him. That does not sound like a sinking ship. It's, again, as long as Vance runs, it's going to be him. Why are they so set on taking him out? Ask yourself that. For everybody who's like believes the Whitney Webb nonsense, by the way, she's an asset, but whoever believes that nonsense about JD Vance being a technocrat, he's one of them, he's one of the globalists. He's Peter Thiel controls him. Whoever believes all that nonsense, why? Why the psyops against Vance? Why try to take Vance out? I'm waiting for a good answer, and I know I'll be waiting for one because it's not coming. As far as the Kash story, Kash announced he's turn right back around and suing the Atlantic for $250 million for defamation. Here's his lawyer. Defamatory speech is not free speech. It's an honor to represent Kash in his lawsuit seeking accountability for the Atlantic article's malicious falsehoods going on. A good sign that Trump's about to crush it in every single way is a nutjob attack. He was going to use nukes, or that Kash was some sort of drunk. These demonic dick nibbles can read maps. They see Trump just solidified control over every major choke point. Absolutely. We have MSNBC already walking back the misstatement alleging FBI head Kash Patel spends more time at nightclubs than in the office. It was a misstatement. We didn't verify it. Morning Joe co-host. Oh, yeah. Don't want to get sued? That's falling apart fast, isn't it? Megan Basham reports, here we go, more outlets unable to confirm Atlantic and Fitzpatrick's reporting that Kash Patel has a drinking problem and poses a security threat. For Morning Wire today, I spoke to the on-record sources like Dissident who have worked very closely with Patel, so they've never seen him abuse alcohol. Further told me that though they are the obvious people Fitzpatrick should have contacted, they never heard from her. Now, Reuters says they've been unable to confirm the claim. Very interesting. If this was a true story, don't you think all these liberal outlets would be all over it like flies on crap? They would just be so excited to jump all over it because they are terrified of Kash. What have we been covering the last couple of weeks? The exposure that's starting to happen, the shakeups that are starting to happen in D.C., Kash last night saying arrests are coming. Yeah, they're scared. They're really scared. And it's time to go all out. Can we ruin Kash Patel's reputation so the Trump administration has to ditch him? That's how desperate these people are. So desperate they're getting sloppy. And when they're sloppy, you know it's bad. Think about in Trump's first term, Russia, Russia, Russia. That complete hoax had just enough behind it. They had enough assets, enough people pushing the narrative, enough control. They were able to get an inspector general on it and put Trump, basically bottle up his administration for 2 years under this massive investigation all over lies. Back then, they could say a lie against Trump. They had enough power and influence to make him set back 2 years. Now, they lie against the administration. It's debunked in hours. Welcome to the power of X and the weakness of City of London. People are like, nothing ever happens. No arrests. Where's everything going? They're winning. The deep state's winning. 2 years, now 2 hours. That's how long a psyop has feet in just 8 years later. That, my friends, is power. Because the power of mind control, the power of the press, that used to be something. It used to be Walter Cronkite would get up on the radio and be, or, broadcast news and say, hello, I'm Walter Cronkite. And he would say whatever came out of his mouth was truth. President Nixon's a terrible man, and he's now going to jail. Everybody's like, oh, my God. We landed on Jupiter. Oh, my God. China is now the most powerful nation in the world. Oh, my God. Everybody believed everything. And we didn't find out for years and years later, decades later, these lies, all that stuff. That was the power of the media. And in just 8 years, it went from a psyop that can cripple an administration or hamstring it for 2 years to 2 hours. And they're desperate enough where they're still hoping that some of this will work. It doesn't work anymore, but we still got to call it out. Why? Because I'm just happy to know and display how pathetic this is. This is pathetic. And if anybody's been worried that Trump's not defeating the deep state, this is massive circumstantial evidence that they are nowhere near what they used to be. So stop blackpilling. Cynical Publius had a great post on this. Every single time, here's a great way. People ask me, how do you know? How do you know what a psyop is? How do you know if a story's true or not? Who should I trust? What sources should I trust? Well, I always say, number one, they're blackpilling. Never, ever trust a blackpiller. Never trust a blackpiller, because either they are an operative, they're doing it on purpose because they're trying to discourage on purpose, or they've lost so much hope they can't think clearly. And either way, they're not going to be helpful for you. So never, ever trust a blackpiller. Number two, anonymous sources, baby. Never, ever trust anonymous sources. Every single time you see anonymously sourced news article is unflattering to a member of the Trump administration, the anonymous source, quote unquote, is someone in the government unhappy a Trump appointee is pushing the agenda the American people elected Trump to push 100% of the time without exception. Why have so many of these stories just turned out to be nothing? Because exactly what he's writing here. Their sources are just people who are angry and trying to hurt the Trump administration. One of the most amazing things of Trump 2.0 is how the psyops now just bounce off of them. The people have gotten so much smarter. Think of how many times. Go back a year and they were trying to get rid of Hegseth. The whole signal chat thing didn't work. They tried to get rid of Bondi. Didn't work. Tried to get rid of Kash Patel last year. Didn't work. Tried to get rid of Tulsi last September. Didn't work. Tried to get rid of her again in the spring. Didn't work. Kash Patel again in the spring. Didn't work. The Trump administration, first term, everybody's getting fired. Gone, gone, gone. Some of them were deep staters, needed to go. Some of it was Trump. Some of it was that they didn't have the power to fight back like they do now. Elon taking over X is one of the greatest things to ever happen for our society. Not that X is perfect. It still can be a cesspit. And there's clearly liberals still working, except for when Elon's engaged, the liberals still control, it's those tech bros. But he freed it up enough where they can't stop it. They can't stop the information coming in real time that breaks down all this stuff. We've never had an information tool in history for the public like X. It is the single greatest news. It's the single greatest outlet for news that's ever happened in world history, because people can access information in real time immediately, and it kills psyops almost as soon as they start. But you got to be looking for it. If you're still watching Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, ABC News at night, whatever it is, if you're still watching that as your main news source, if you're really old and you're still picking up the Wall Street Journal off your porch in the morning and sitting down with your OJ and coffee and pouring open those papers, well, you're going to be much more susceptible to psyops because you're trusting the narratives of those reporters, those journalists, those editors. X is where the action is. It is. And it's where everything gets debunked in real time. It's incredible. And it really, really can ruin your day if you get stuck on there too long. It's very addictive. Anyways, also the facts revealed by the anonymous source are always either lies or gross exaggerations, or they leave out significant facts and tell a different story. 100% of the time, without exception. Please keep this in mind when reading anonymously sourced articles. How many times, and again, there are so many psyops going on all the time. It's the worst it's ever been. It's nonstop. So nobody's immune. I've fallen for them. You've fallen for them. We all do. The key is how fast do you recover? It's not that you don't fall for it in the first place. It's how fast you recover. That's how you know you're starting to grow. And then if you get really good over time, you can weed out 90 to 95% of them. Nobody's 100%. But it's getting more and more obvious, guys. I mean, I saw this story this morning, immediately knew it wasn't true. I saw this story this morning, immediately knew it wasn't true. It's just too obvious these days. It's too obvious. I knew the JD one's not true because I'm one of the big ones pushing back against that constantly. But this one is seeping into MAGA. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people wanting to believe this, that Trump is turning to Rubio. Couldn't be further from the truth. Regardless, it's a major sign that City of London is in a bad, bad place. And these ladies is Promethean action. I'm not getting paid for this endorsement. Watch their channel. It's fantastic. And they really break this stuff down excellently. But as for us, guys, be ready for more. This is going to keep coming. And we're going to get into, in a minute here, what's going on Capitol Hill, the exposure going on, how it's pretty clear justice is coming. And they're terrified about it. As this continues, we're going to be entering into psyop insanity. So get ready. Start preparing yourselves now. Learn your lessons on how to defeat them, how to overcome and see through them, and you'll be just fine. Because it's going to get wild. This is just the beginning as they get more and more desperate. Okay. Let's take a break for a second. I want to say hey in the chat. I saw a super chat, and I also want to make sure I don't miss anybody who tagged me. But if you guys don't mind, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you enjoyed that first segment, you are ready for more in just a minute here. But let me check and see if I missed anything. Job for 9 says $5 donation, says love the content and the Discord. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Ray Sandoval said 5 American Fire gift memberships to the YouTube, which means you guys now have access to all members only live shows. I appreciate that, Ray, very much so. Thank you so much. Okay, let me see here if I missed anything. Anybody had something they were throwing at me? I don't think so. Looks like you guys are talking amongst yourselves. That's all right. That's all good. Let's see. Sierra says, I prefer Rubio because he won't be scared to make the right decision even if people will get mad. I feel like Vance would care too much about getting people mad. I really couldn't disagree with you more there, but I appreciate you writing and doing so respectfully. Thank you for that. But I just completely disagree with you. I think the way JD Vance has trolled people shows you that he does not care about making people mad. Just saying. Yeah, Shogun. Oh, you're getting ahead of me, man. I'll talk about the SAVE Act later. Bitcoin Block says, JD's fine. Would he propose a Muslim ban? It's beyond instinct. Trump creates headlines with tweets, massive energy, focuses energy to destroy enemies, build his brand. rallies. Absolutely. Trump is the best political instincts of anybody I've ever seen. But JD Vance has the talent to kind of unite the country a little more and bring a little healing to the country after all the craziness of the Trump administration, which is going to be needed to move forward. It really will, especially if we win this thing, which we're going to, this war against the deep state, and can really start rebuilding America, our culture, our unity. We'll never be fully unified, but we can make major advances, and JD Vance is more equipped for that. I think it's going to be great. I think he's going to be a wonderful president. But Ellen says, I'd love to troll those jerks with a Vance Gabbard ticket. Let them think Tulsi's going to be Kamala twice. I want to be a cowboy says, JD worked for Teal, and he used to say really bad things about Trump. It's true. He worked for Teal, which thousands of people have done. He did get money from Teal in his campaign. Absolutely true. He was in his mid-30s when he said stuff about Trump, which everybody did, kind of. You know, I mean, very few people were supportive of Trump on the Republican side or the Democratic side in politics. I give him a pass, being that he was in his 30s, a little more impressionable, probably up on the Hill. Listen, if we want to talk about Vance's past, we have to talk about Rubio's past. Rubio supported amnesty. Rubio was a neocon, full on. Rubio has more history of doing bad things in Rubio went after Trump in the primaries. So if we want to play that game, we can play it with both of them. And I don't like this whole Rubio's perfect and Vance is awful thing. It's just not true. And listen, Plantier, whatever you believe about it, good, bad, who cares? I don't see Trump too concerned about it, but I do see a lot of Fed types who are very scared of it. The technocrat guys always pushing that narrative and somehow pushing Trump and Vance into that narrative when it was they're clearly defeating the globalist technocrats who had the Great Reset planned. So I'm just saying, every single time I hear this nonsense, you just got to put two and two together. If you don't like Vance, then you don't believe Trump is defeating the technocrats. That's just what it comes down to. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. And Vance has done everything right and listen, when Trump got shot, he spent a lot of time thinking, who is going to be the guy that is there if I die? Trump thought about that. He had a couple people lined up. He was trying to think politically. Then he got shot, and he immediately went to JD. That says everything to me. That says everything you need to know about how much he trusts JD. So if Trump listen, I always say this, okay? I trust who Trump trusts. Trump doesn't trust many people. Sometimes Trump elevates somebody so they can be destroyed. But the fact that Trump keeps giving Vance important assignments, some of the most important assignments, tells me he's trusted. And that means he's on the inside. And that means JD is my guy. Because he's Trump's guy. That's how I see it. And, everybody can fight against me. But listen, I know we've had a lot of hard times. I know that most of us, our entire lives, the U.S. has been in some sort of decline, except for some good blips here and there that were nice. That sucks, okay? And it does. And I get why people are black-pilled. But I'm sorry, if this is the most obvious attempt at restoring our greatness, restoring our sovereignty, restoring our culture that has ever happened. It's the only chance we're going to get in this generation. And I mean that. If Trump fails and we screw it up because we don't recognize our moment, we're looking at we won't get another real chance for 30, 40, 50 years. So if you want your kids, your grandkids to have a better America, this is the chance. And at some point, everybody blackpilling is going to have to buck up and say, I have to trust something. I have to give it a chance. I know it hurts. I know you've been burned. I know that you gave up and you just started believing it would never work out. Well, guess what? This is obviously different. And so buck up, Buttercup. We have one shot at this. And if Trump chooses JD, I'm in. One way or the other, whether JD's the presidential candidate or not, JD is going to be a major part of MAGA going forward. He is going to be one of the main leaders, if not the main leader of the movement going forward. And so we have to take the shot. We have to. We have to give him the chance. Otherwise, we lose it all. And we lose the future. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm not willing to go all out on Trump and see him win just to deep inside be believing it's going to be ruined anyways because he made the mistake of Vance. I'm sorry. That makes zero sense. It's all or nothing, guys. It's all or nothing time. So you can sit on the sidelines and complain the whole time, but seriously, don't come here if that's going to be you. I don't want you to watch because like all I'm going to do is piss you off because all you want to do is talk smack and come up with all the reasons I'm wrong. So don't watch the freaking channel. I don't need you. There's enough people in this country who still believe, who are still willing to fight, who still have hope that I'll just hang out with those people and I'm fine with that. If you're legitimately trying to make a comeback and you're like, help me believe, I'm there for you. I'm there for you all day. But if you're just looking to talk smack, if you're just, going to be like, nothing ever matters. Oh, Eeyore. Yeah, I don't need any Eeyores in my life, okay? Do you know how hard it is to stay focused, to fight and believe every single day? Because it's, like I said, psyops galore. Now, it's not as hard as it used to be because I just have a lot more understanding. And once you kind of see it, I actually get excited now. But you know how hard it was to stay positive after 2020 election? You know how hard it was to stay positive for 4 years of Biden? I did it, but it was hard as hell. And I have no regrets. Everybody watching this show who's been here since the beginning of me doing this show, every single person will tell you, I told them Trump was winning in 24. And I never wavered. Not once. I told you he's coming back better than ever. I never wavered once. Because A, I got a word from God I believe in. And B, I chose to keep believing. And because of me and others who chose to believe, we won. Okay? So do not blackpill. It's first of all, it's detrimental to your own soul, so I'm helping you out here. But it's also the only way you win. Pessimists do not win. They don't. Even if they're smarter, the optimist will beat you every time in the long run. And what we're showing tonight, like I just showed you, they're desperate because they are losing. So, no blackpilling, folks. We're going to win, and JD's the future, and he's going to be awesome. He's going to be awesome. And if it's Rubio, if I'm wrong, and they switch him out for Rubio for whatever reason, if JD decides to raise his kids and come back in 2036, heck yeah. I'll do Rubio 8 years, followed by Vance for 8 years. Let's do it. I'm in. But we're not doing the nihilistic blackpilling here. You're in the wrong spot. Let's see here before I go on. About to go on to the next segment. So guys, please hit the like, hit the subscribe if you like it. If you are hopeful and white-pilled and not black-pilling, hit that like. And if you really like this community, if you really like what we're all about, please think about joining. You can join for free for 1 month. That's my gift for you. A month to watch members only content and to be in the Discord and get to know the community, and doesn't cost you a dime. go to the description, click the link to Patreon, join up, sign up. Come join us in the Discord. It's a great time. I'm in there all the time. Wasn't in there much today. I was busy, but I try to be in there a lot. And we have a great time. And you'll get to know people. It's a great community. And then if you decide to stay, you can decide to stay. But a month free. So Red Legosaurus says, he quotes VP Vance, says, blackpilling is how you give power to the forces trying to destroy what our ancestors built. Amen. Amen. So, love it. So good. All right, guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Great stuff. Let's move on. We got so much more to get to. And it's important right now to go to like where we're at in Iran. So let's get through it. And this was a big one. You know, last night we talked about the ship we shot. Well, turns out that ship was crazy. Way crazier than we thought it was going to be, just a regular Iranian tanker or something. This is why they ran from our ship for 6 hours. The Iranian flag ship Tuska, which the U.S. military seized yesterday, was inbound from China loaded with dual-use chemicals used to manufacture missiles. U.S. Marines are now searching 5,000 containers on board. And that's why they didn't stop. China was trying to load up the IRGC for one more round. We busted them. All of a sudden, Trump's blockade of Iranian ports looks even more genius than ever. After seeing this, President Xi Jinping called for the normal passage of vessels through the Strait of Hormuz to be maintained in a phone call with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. According to State News, he's freaking out. He's freaking out. They just got busted. This is crushing their economy. That was probably their last push to try to help Iran do something, see if they could maintain the strait on their own. Now China's like, we're done. It's time to put the pressure on. We got to get this done. We got to get this one done. And so he calls us out, and so right after he does this, it comes to get a deal going. And Trump called it out today because guess what? A psyop started today. So Trump responded to the psyop as a deal gets started, as the Iranians come back to the table. A psyop starts that Trump is just going to go to Iran, to the Iranians, not him, but Witkoff, Kushner, and Vance are going to go to the Iranians and give them the Obama deal. That psyop started today. Why do you think that started? They obviously want to crush MAGA's soul because we all know that Obama's Iranian deal was an absolute disaster. And in fact, it funded Iran to continue their nuclear program and continue funding terror in the region, which is exactly what City of London wants. Obama is, of course, a City of London asset, so it makes perfect sense. So the psyop today that Trump was going to go right back to it. So Trump, in order to combat this, comes back and says, make no mistake, President Trump won't drag the U.S. into another disastrous deal with Iran. If a deal happens under Trump, it will guarantee peace, security, and safety, not only for Israel and the Middle East, but for Europe, America, and everywhere else. So that's Trump saying this is going to be strong. I'm not going to give him the wishy-washy Obama deal. And I just want to add to that even if there's a deal structured with, say, a time limit, and it's not as tough as all of us want it to be, which is absolute decimation of the regime, no nuclear anything, all ban on straight terrorism, just give us everything. That's what I want. But we're dealing with insane people here. Insane people who are beyond weakened, who at this point, their people could rise up as soon as they catch a breath and take them over. Trump knows all this. So if Trump gives a deal Let's say we offer some like a descaling of sanctions. They're going to get maybe a little bit of money towards infrastructure, something like that. And it's like a 15, 20-year time limit. And it starts to look a little bit like the Obama deal. Just remember this. Obama didn't absolutely decimate their military before making that deal. Obama sent the money over on pallets of cash, which are untraceable. Obama didn't destroy their Navy and Air Force completely. Obama didn't take out their top 100 or so leaders. So no matter what comes out of this deal, however it looks, it's not the Obama deal, but they want you to believe that. This is a war we won. Now what we're doing is negotiating the terms of surrender. That's what we're doing. So it's not even a deal in the same sense. But they want that psyop to go out there. They want the first story on day one of a deal that is anything less than complete and utter surrender. It's going to be framework of Trump's deal, very similar to JCPOA. Watch it. I'm calling it right now. There will be stories that compare it because they want MAGA discouraged, mad at Trump, frustrated. And they want the Democrats to be like fired up and say, see, Obama was just as tough as Trump. It's a two-way psyop. And that's what they're going to pull. Bet me. If it's anything less than 100%, that's exactly what it'll look like. And I'm preparing you guys for it. Supreme Leader has given the green light. At least we think he has. He's probably in a coma somewhere or whatever, or maybe even dead. But that's what they say anyways. Vance is going to Islamabad tomorrow morning. Internal struggle in Tehran played out exactly as we'd been tracking. IRGC pressured negotiators hold a firmer line. Refused talks until blockade ended. Pakistan, Egypt, and Turkey pushed Iran to attend anyway. Interesting that these countries are all trying to get Iran to just end it. The days of all the Middle East being like anti-America, anti-Israel are over. It's very interesting. I'm not saying personally they don't feel that, but they all just kind of want to go on with their governments now and build nations. Team waited for a final decision from Mujtaba Kamani. He said go. At least we think he did. Trump effectively extended the ceasefire for a day. Expires tomorrow, Wednesday evening. It's the entire window, 48 hours. Vance, Witkoff, and Kushner are flying in. It's interesting he's sending Vance because before there was talk that it was going to be too dangerous. But he's sending Vance anyways, which means Trump must believe this is actually it. This time, ceasefire. U.S. had a blockade running. Iran's reclaiming missile launchers and deadlines hours away. Also, we have put several ships in place. U.S. is moving to position 3 carrier strike groups in the Middle East should the ceasefire fail and combat operations resume. Ford and Lincoln, CENTCOM, AOR, and Bush is en route. Here it is. Here's the tracking. I got to tell you guys that if, right here, if they say no, I expect that we might see a bombing campaign that is just like the first 3 days, where it's obliteration. So think about Iran, the place they're in right now, where they know Trump's got all this lined up. He's blocking their ports, so no oil's coming in or out. Their wells are about to, or their reservoirs are about to overflow. So they're going to have to shut their wells down soon, which could set them back 5-10 years in pumping because of the suction in the wells being gone. They're in trouble, and they know it. Their economy is losing 400 to 500 million a day right now, depending on where you look. And Iran has to make a deal now, or it's over. It's over. And U.S., in the meantime, is also flexing some weapons. U.S. just deployed a new weapon on the USS George H.W. Bush, a laser that shoots drones out of the sky called Locust. Operates at 20 kilowatts, successfully tracked, engaged, and neutralized multiple drones during the live fire testing. First time a laser weapon's ever been mounted on an aircraft carrier. Trump is just like, we got some weapons. You got some cool weapons we haven't used yet? Yeah, let's use those weapons. Venezuela? Yeah, we'll just shut it all down. Iran? Yeah, bring out the lasers. I can't do it, man. My voice. Woo. Sorry. The advantage that changes everything, infinite magazine depth. How cool is that? Now we can take out all their missiles, all their drones coming at us with lasers, and we don't run out. Now, obviously, it doesn't say missiles. Maybe they're moving too fast, but I bet that we're not far off. No reloading, no running out of ammunition as long as the ship has power. Laser fires. 1 drone or 100 expect to rise in theater imminently. That's like their biggest thing, man, is the drones. This is crazy. This is crazy cool. Let's keep going. Trump, amidst all this, we're already killing it on energy. Well, because of Iran, he's invoked the Defense Production Act to surge our federal resources into petroleum, LNG, coal, and grid infrastructure. This is so smart. Energy price spiking is treating it like a wartime emergency. Not only that, guys, this is Trump's opportunity to, we're already crushing it energy-wise. We are now the number one exporter of natural gas and oil, and it's not even close. The wealth that's going to start pouring into our country because of this is, just wait. It's going to take a couple years, but then we're going to start seeing real changes because of being the number one and all this stuff, and the people have to come to us. But Trump is able to use the war now to get more of his agenda through. Do you see that? This is, excuse me real quick. Sorry about that. This is brilliant. And this is how you get it done. If Congress isn't going to help you, if the judges are going to fight you, well, now you got a war. And honestly, the war hasn't hurt us that much. Not on energy. People are coming to us for our oil. If Trump just stopped the exports, oil would be $2 again here quick. He doesn't want to do that because it would completely mess up the industry, even hurt our companies. But if he has to, he will, and it'll work. But in the meantime, use Defense Production Act. Once this gets moving, guys, all these things and producing even more, who's going to let it go backwards? This will just keep going. They're not going to stop it. Not unless Democrats somehow win in 2028, which isn't going to happen with the crazy people they got running. So this is amazing. Get ready, because in about 6 months to a year, we'll start seeing the results of this. Energy prices down, oil prices down. Imagine what happens once the Strait of Hormuz opens up. Venezuela is already exporting more than we expected at this point. We're pumping more than ever before. And now this as well. I said oil prices could be $40 a gallon or $40 a barrel by the end of the year. They could be 35 or 30 at this point. This is wild what Trump's pulling off, but get ready. Oh, and yeah, on top of that, he offering at least 400,000 acres in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge for oil and gas drilling rights in June. And before you say 400,000 acres, that's a lot. That's like in your entire house. This is the nightstand. That's how much space in all of this Trump is offering. So Alaska's going to be just fine. But more oil. Now, what's really going on in Iran and why they're all freaking out. How the conflict is breaking City of London. This is an excellent thread, and I thought I'd share it for those who haven't quite seen the connection yet. Most people see London as stylish financial capital with historic buildings, red buses for the last century. City of London has quietly acted as a heavy chain holding back the world. I'm going to skip ahead just to the parts, the parts that mostly connect to Iran. LBMA, which dominates global gold and silver pricing, has long been accused of enabling artificial price suppression. This kept metals undervalued, making it harder for ordinary people and producing nations to build real wealth. Instead of fair market signals encouraging investment and innovation, system funneled back gains towards London financial systems. London also built the euro dollar in the 50s. Global interest rates through LIBOR. For decades, cost of borrowing dollars worldwide was partly set in London, not Washington. You know who changed that? President Donald J. Trump by appointing Powell. They changed from LIBOR to SOFR, who Tom Luongo breaks it down excellently. And we are now off the system because of Donald Trump and Jerome Powell. And that happened in 2022. Just saying, stuff was happening even when Trump was gone. Darker side's even clearer. Networks tied to Iran's IRGC, Hezbollah, and Venezuela's regime. Notice that? Iran, we're taking them out right now, and Venezuela's regime. These City of London networks have moved billions through gold smuggling routes and oil for gold swaps. Venezuelan gold and cartel money flowed through Toronto and London-linked banks. IRGC and Hezbollah used Turkish gold markets and London bullion channels to launder funds and finance operations. Lloyd's itself flagged these IRGC Hezbollah gold routes years ago, and U.S. sanctions in April 26 again exposed the same networks. Sanctions in April 26. Donald J. Trump. Thank you, sir. Donald Trump doesn't do anything. Trump's not fighting the deep state. God. If people just could take 10 minutes and do research, they would learn that that is such a stupid thing to say. I'm sorry. I get mad. Iranian oil swapped for Venezuelan gold, sold on Turkey's black market, proceeds cycling back through familiar financial plumbing. Oil swapped for Venezuelan gold. Oh, Venezuela first. Oh. Now Iran, it's right there, folks. Right now, Iran conflict is ripping that chain apart in real time. U.S. and Israeli strikes began February 28, 26. Iran choked the Strait of Hormuz, disrupting 20% of global oil. Prices spiked hard. Look at the futures market. WTI from the U.S. went into extreme backwardation. Prompt oil traded $20 to $40 above later contracts and briefly trade above Brent. Traders are paying huge premiums for immediate, reliable barrels that don't need Hormuz. Old London-centric pricing web is losing control. And there it is. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, just as I've been saying. This isn't random chaos. It's the scarcity machine cracking. Europe still feels the echo. Heavy regulations, energy squeezes, and policies that suppress local wages while flooding in immigrants. Biden administration in the U.S. mirrored this path almost exactly. Record border encounters, expanded migration, increased labor supply, and pressured wages for American workers, while layering on more institutionally dependency mechanisms. Both sides kept the old scarcity playbook alive. Iran conflict's doing what years of talk couldn't. And here we are. It's forcing real trade to reroute away from London's extractive plumbing. The chain held humanity long enough. Multipolar world is finally shaking it loose. That is why Trump's in Iran. And yeah, to stop him from getting nukes too. But think about that. If City of London is using it for all this money, think about how it's also using it to destabilize the Middle East. Iran is not the greatest world sponsor of terror. City of London is. They just use Iran to launder that money. That, my friends, is the truth. And what we're seeing is Iran, the reason they all hate the Iran war, even though it's been 6 weeks, the shortest major war offensive in American history. Major underscored. This is a miracle what Trump's pulling off. And the reason all the influencers turned on him as soon as we bombed Iran is because this is the biggest attack on the deep state in world history. And by killing off Iran, City of London is losing its last major stronghold to make all this money. to manipulate the Middle East, oil, shipping, etc., gold, market pricing. Trump got us off the LIBOR interest standard that flowed through London. He cut off Venezuela, and he's cutting off Iran. And that has got City of London freaking out. And that is why all these influencers have turned. It's right in front of us, and it's really easy to see once you see it. It's really easy to see. And Trump is not done, because as soon as he's done with this major operation, Cuba's next, and it's going to be easy. Cuba is already signaling willingness to negotiate with the U.S. after mounting pressure. Miguel Diaz-Canel confirms direct talks underway after years of defiance. Havana's now at the table. Incredible stuff. Rubio, surged delegation met with grandson of Fidel Castro. Made demands like opening up the internet, releasing more prisoners. A U.S. government plane landed on the island nation's soil for the first time since 2016. U.S. officials believe there's an opening to push communist leaders out. We're gonna end Cuba without a bullet fired. And all of a sudden, the Western Hemisphere is a much safer place, a much better place, a much more prosperous place. Trump he's a miracle worker, guys. This is miracle worker stuff. So for everybody's like, Trump's not doing anything, I'm sorry. Once you see it, you can't see it. This is ending the deep state. And now, once all that money's dried up, once all that power is gone from the City of London, from the deep state, from the EU, the globalists, Davos, World Economic Forum, they are all basically destroyed after Iran. Now, they're not destroyed, but they're so weak it won't matter anymore. And now there's no backup. And so what makes sense? Now you clean up home, because they don't have the money to do what they need to do anymore. They don't have the influence or the network anymore. It's gone, baby. Iran is that straw that's going to break the camel's back. And then Trump can come home and clean it all up. And we wonder why we had to wait. Now we know. It's coming. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. All right. Let me take a break before the next segment. I want to come in and say hey to the chat. Again, I did see a couple comments I wanted to address. Somebody said, let's see, Castellum said, about 10 minutes behind. I'm 100% right. This isn't golf, it's boxing. If you give up, tap out, whatever, don't stop pummeling you. We have nowhere to go but here. Talking about blackpilling. I love it. Thanks for that. That's a great comment. Somebody else said something about me being easy on China last night. Let me just in case anybody was confused by what I said about China last night. Last night, when talking about China, my point on China was that they still remain an adversary. They're an enemy. They are not somebody to be trusted. My point is they are so weak compared to what we've been told that they are at a place where they're just trying to take care of their own country. And yes, they will steal, they will rob, they will pillage, they will infiltrate. They'll do whatever they need to do to make China thrive. But what China's not doing is expanding their borders empire-wise by taking things over. They're financial empire, sure, but they're not militarily doing that. And that was my point. China's military is much, much weaker than we were ever led to believe. And their economy is a joke. They just don't have. So I wasn't wrong, and I wasn't going soft on them. I was just saying, compared to City of London and the deep state, China is nothing for us to worry about. That was my point last night. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that clarifies things. Okay, let me see if I missed anything else. Chat is going nuts, but you guys are talking amongst yourselves. That's awesome. Go make friends. Lots of good peeps in the chat. A lot of these people are my friends. Starseed says, my opinion is Trump's son Eric needs to be president. He doesn't care about witchcraft. He won't back down. Yeah, if I was going to have to choose between the Trumps, I would say Eric too, but I don't think he's interested. Now, Barron in 20 years might be interesting. Just saying. He might be somebody to watch. Let's see here. Bitcoin blog says, with American oil, men unleashed in USA, Venezuela, Russia, 20% of oil the Middle East sells will not be needed in a year. I agree with you, but it's still going to get out there. And when it gets out there, it's just going to make prices plummet, which is good for us consumers. Jacob Guitar says, all we do is win. At least if you're MAGA, we don't stop winning. We're taking America back. Dems hate it because citizens come first. They're burying themselves. So eat them. Keep digging deeper. I like it. Let's see here. Did I miss anything else that's interesting? Oh, some people got blocked. No trolling in the chat, please. You guys, sometimes you gotta learn the hard way. All right. Let me see. Okay, again, guys, if you want to get to me, please tag me in the chat so I can actually see it, or send a super chat. Okay, those are the only ways I can guarantee I'll see it. All right, I think that's it. Where we're at. Oh wait, somebody did tag me. What's this? Seth says, about the Commonwealth of the Caribbean, it's not about needing it, it's about connecting the hemisphere, because just because we don't need it doesn't mean we shouldn't get it for the future. Well, our hemisphere, the only Commonwealth country is Canada. Do I believe we're going to set Canada free down the road? Absolutely, I do. So that'll be handled, and that'll take care of our hemisphere. So, yeah, I get there's Caribbean islands and stuff. That'll probably be a part of it too. But I don't think we'll take them over. I just don't. Maybe we'll get a couple territories. We'll see. Did I see PBD calling out Tucker? Yeah, last night. That was wonderful. I shared it on the show last night. So, what's up, Diane? Okay, you guys ready? We got to keep it moving, because I got a lot going on. All right, we have, let's talk about what's going on Capitol Hill. The exposure is ramping up. Capitol Hill is a mess right now. Everybody is running for their lives. Politicians, anybody who's got skeletons in the closet is terrified, because it's all starting to come out. People are calling out people left and right. Ro Khanna, it's really the pressure's starting to ramp up on him. This Argowal for Congress is this morning. We're launching a 7-figure ad campaign against Ro Khanna. Today's the beginning of the end. We're highlighting his hypocrisy around $600 million of trades since being elected to Congress. You'll find on Hulu, YouTube, Instagram, and eventually linear. If you live in the district, you'll be getting a mailer about the contract for our policies. We're in this to win it. Let's watch the little spot.
Ro Khanna traded more stocks than any House Democrat last year. 149 conflicts of interest, making millions off industries like Big Pharma, fossil fuels, even companies helping ICE. Washington's changed Ro Khanna. The change we need is Ethan Agarwal.
We don't need to watch the last part. I just want to watch the takedown part. Ro Khanna's long been in my sights. The guy is a snake. He's done really good at covering his tracks, but people starting to get receipts out, and it's making me very happy. Next, George Santos calling out Nancy Mace, paging her former Nancy Mace staffers. Do the right thing, come forward, and shed light on the creature she really is. It's time South Carolina finds out the truth, puts an end to her miserable political career once for all. By coming forward, you're saving future young staffers from being subject to her BS and unprofessional behavior. The survivors of lunacy and tyrannical behavior. I've long heard rumors about Nancy Mace. She comes across, she plays the MAGA card well on TV, but she's awful. And there's so much starting to come out about her. Remember, guys, we still have Republicans to purge too. and we don't want any of them staying in. Except for every once in a while, Trump is like, I need this one for now. Like he does that with Lindsey Graham. Why? People ask me all the time, what about Lindsey Graham? They use it as like an excuse to believe Trump's deep state. No, he's not at all. Lindsey Graham is just a terrible, terrible person, terrible neocon, but he's also a coward. And so he does whatever Trump tells him to do. And so Trump, when he sees somebody else that has no chance of winning and a Democrat could replace him, he's like, I'll endorse Lindsey. We don't have to like it, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend, guys. Trump is all about that Sun Tzu art of war, and sometimes you gotta get a little dirty. But in the meantime, if we can get some of these people out, we take it, especially if there's other options. But Nancy Mace, all kinds of stuff's been coming out about like how she has lied about multiple of her details on sexual assault stuff. She had an affair with one of her female staffers. Yeah. And she's also a terrible person in person. These rumors have been coming out for a long time, and Santos is now doubling down on them. Now, for everybody who says nothing's happening, former senior intelligence FBI officials cooperating with the Justice Department's criminal investigation into whether former CIA Director John Brennan lied to Congress were subpoenaed to testify before the grand jury this week. It's starting to build. Getting John Brennan is huge. Most people don't like that we're going after Brennan. They want Obama. They want Clinton. I get it. Those are nice big names. You guys understand that Brennan might be more important than all of them? John Brennan, former CIA director, longtime deep stater, converted to Islam in the late 90s, complete City of London asset, and basically raised and groomed Barack Obama into the Manchurian candidate. Yes, this is the man behind the man. This is Barack Obama's handler, and it's starting to, the walls are starting to close in on him. You know, in this war we're in, guys, this deep state war, there are big names that we'd love to get. Obama, Clinton, well, Biden at this point, it doesn't even matter, does it? He's barely there. But, you know, there's big names, Pelosi. But you understand that the real players, the real big guys are the ones behind them. And so while those names would be wonderful to get, it's better we get these guys. Because by getting them, you pull the strings, you take away all the assets, all the resources, and then the rest of them are just left stranded. And then they're really easy to pick up if you need to. Or they might have cut deals to get some of these people. That's what matters most, taking out the head of the snake. And Brennan is a head. He's not a body, he's a head. So we want to see this man go down big time. Ilhan Omar getting exposed. This is a crazy story. Let's listen to Kaylee for a second here.
6 to 30 million to under 100,000. Ilhan Omar says she isn't a multimillionaire, blames accounting error. Okay, so an accounting error led her to believe she was very wealthy. Well, Omar was staring down a potential investigation after disclosing that she and her husband's assets were valued between $6 million and $30 million on a financial disclosure form. That was an astronomical increase in wealth from her last disclosure, but she has since amended her filing now.
That's an easy mistake, right? I mean, you guys, who hasn't just been like, hey, I made 20 grand last year, but I'm going to claim 30 million. I do it all the time. I'm always like, oh, I got to amend my returns. That darn extra digit and 5 extra zeros. It just escapes me. Are you kidding me? So from 6 to 30 million in assets to saying worth under 100K, an accounting error. I mean, come on. I know nobody here is dumb enough to believe it, but at the same time, Democrats are going to be like, woo, thank God Ilhan's fine. No, I have a feeling Ilhan's going down pretty soon here. And again, she's a name. It'll be fun to get her. It's not going to change that much, except getting a crazy person out of the house, which is good, you know. But she's small potatoes. But at the same time, it'll feel good and it'll be a big win for MAGA. So we hope we see that very soon. Congress has now released the list of 28 House members investigated for sexual misconduct. Now, I will say, going through this list, I saw at least one name where it was clear it was the Democrats trying to just take this person down. But let's look at this list real quick, okay? It's kind of amazing they released it. Eric Swalwell, Tony Gonzalez, we knew about them. Corey Mills, by the way, it's not looking good for Corey Mills. He'll be gone soon. Matt Gaetz, who was vindicated. George Sandos, also not vindicated. Well, vindicated on the sexual stuff. Madison Cawthon in a wheelchair. I mean, I guess he could have sexually assaulted somebody, but he was the one calling it out when he was up there. I have a feeling that he's safe. We got Michael FQ Nicholas, don't know who that is. Tom Reed, Alice Hastings. That one's interesting. Katie Hill. A lot of these people are gone. Let me see if there's any other. Alcee Hastings again, twice on that one. And then we got, I'm going to have to lean in. It's very small. Oh, look at that. Barney Frank in 1990. Dirty Barney. You know, I got past the breaking bill. I just ran for this. You know, I care about Massachusetts so much in there. Then, in Barney, have you guys ever heard Barney Frank talk? Most of you are probably like, "What the heck is he doing?" I'm sorry. You got to hear Barney Frank talk if you've never heard him talk. He's got the craziest voice you've ever heard. Check this out. I just laugh every time I hear his voice. He's so stupid. He's got the craziest voice. Oh, Larry. Hold on, Larry. We got to get to Barney. Where's Barney? Here's Barney.
But I will.
A real solution.
When you ask me that question, I am going to revert to my ethnic heritage and answer your question with a question. On what planet do you spend most of your time?
Oh, what planet? I'm sorry. That had nothing to do with anything, but listen to Barney Frank talk is always funny. It's always funny. He's not closeted, by the way. People are writing that he's closeted. No, he's not closeted. He's very openly gay. Anyways, we did have he's big gay Elmer Fudd. Anyways, we did have today a big deal in the Trump administration. U.S. Secretary of Labor Chavez DeRamier resigns, which is very interesting because she's the only like full-on Democrat that was in the administration. I know RFK technically, but RFK was ousted by his own party. He's MAGA as far as I'm concerned. This woman was Trump's appeal to moderates to say, look, I can reach across the aisle. We can do this. So he took a bet on her. And of course, you know how I told you before, sometimes Trump elevates people to expose them. Well, she got exposed real quick. This guy heard through the grapevine intentionally kneecapping investigations into Indian H-1B visa and labor abuses. Can't say I'm sad about this, but here's the other thing. She's out after her husband's accused of sexual assault. Her husband and father sent text messages to young female staffers. Her husband was banned from Labor Department HQ after sexual assault reports by at least 2 female